Welcome to Go Long Live with Barry Long 2. I am Barry Long 2nd. Don't forget the 2. Thank you to everyone who is tuning in on today's California.com. Thank you to everybody who is on CoachellaValley.com. Thank you to Craig Campbell from CoachellaValley.com for the platform. Now, coming to you live from Indio, California, on the corner of Coachella and Indio, kind of like right in between. I was just involved in a very serious car accident about an hour and a half ago where I was T-boned by a truck carrying asphalt. And it was very scary, man. Luckily, I was able to not get hit head on T-bone, but they hit the back of my car, and I was able to escape without any serious injuries. My shoulder's a little bit messed up. Can't really hear anything out of my left ear. Got a pretty bad little knee injury, and my toes scraped all up. But other than that, I'm just thankful to be alive. So make sure everybody that you guys are just hug and kiss everybody you love, because you never know when your last day could be. But yeah, we aside from that, as they say in show business, the show must go on. So I'm thankful to be here, and insurance is going to handle everything else, and I should be fine. But I am coming to you live from California, Indio, California. It's only a high of 109 today. So we're finally starting to turn that corner where we were at 118 a day. We were at 120 degrees weather days. It was kind of insane. But now we're starting to cool off a little bit, and pretty soon we'll be looking at the fall weather and football season, and that's going to be a lot of fun. We are going to be talking about football today. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on around training camps in the NFL. We'll also be talking a little bit of NBA free agency. We got some free agencies coming up. We also have a little bit of NBA draft talk. We're going to really go over the draft on Friday, as well as some Olympic stuff that we're going to talk about. And everybody, this Delta variant is going around, and you know that they're calling these variants after Greek alphabet letters. So they had the Alpha, now we're up to Delta. Y'all don't want to see what that Epsilon variant looks like. I don't know what country it would come from, but the Delta variant is serious, and there's a lot of breakthrough cases. So people, if you're not vaxxed, even if you are vaxxed, please wear your mask, all right? Because I'm vaxxed. I'm fully vaxxed. And, I wasn't wearing a mask in public for a while, but now I've been watching the news, and I'm going to start wearing a mask in public so I can protect others. Because, even though I have O positive blood and I have fully vaxxed with the Moderna, shout out to Moderna, I'm still going to heed by the CDC guidelines. Now, we saw yesterday Simone Biles, who has been probably the most decorated female Olympic athlete that we've ever seen in the sport of gymnastics. She came out and she ended up withdrawing from the Olympics. She withdrew from the individual or the team final. Now she has withdrew from the individual final. And Simone Biles, she's been, the top Olympian athlete for a long time. We've known her to win gold medals. That's all she does. She does think, ooh, that's a bad picture of Simone. Can we get a better picture of Simone, please? There we go. But yeah, she has some of the most incredible moves. She looks like she has springs in her legs. Shout out to Mona Vaz coming over the southern border. The new variant's coming over the southern border. But yeah, shout out to Mona for commenting in. As if you want to comment, you can get your comments right here live. I'll shout you out as well. But yeah, back to Simone Biles. She does some of the most incredible things that gymnasts do we've ever seen. She looks like she has springs in her legs. The way that she flips in the air, the way that she's so poised, the way that she lands all those crazy flips that she does. And she has a great personality. And she's just been the face of the Olympics for the last 2 Olympics. And she's the face of gymnastics. And they were saying that this might be her final season or her final Olympic run. And she was supposed to leave as the most decorated female gymnast or female athlete in the Olympics history for the United States. And she ended up withdrawing. Now, on the first day, she had some issues. She didn't land a couple of her runs from the vault, and then she also messed up on the high bars. She messed up on the floor routine, which is her best routine. She actually came all the way off the mat, and we saw her, run away, kind of like shy, kind of like disappointed, embarrassed a little bit. But immediately when her teammates started surrounding her, we automatically thought that maybe she had some kind of physical injury, because she does have these physical gifts that allow her body to propel itself in other ways that we've never seen any other athlete be able to do. So maybe the landing was hard. Maybe she tore something. Maybe she has a knee injury. And our immediate thought when she withdrew from the competition was, man, Simone's hurt. Dang, we can't win it without Simone. But then we come and find out later on in the day, as the reports started to trickle down, that she ended up having something going on mentally. It's a mental health issue. So she withdrew for mental health issues, for mental health reasons. And I started going on social media. And I saw a lot of different types of opinions that were circulating on social media. People were talking crap about her, saying, you know what, she quit on her team. She's weak. She's mentally weak, blah, blah, blah. And then I saw a lot of people that were supporting her, you know, because they've gone through mental health issues themselves, or they had somebody in their family or somebody that they're close to has gone through mental health issues. And I just started thinking, like, okay, if this girl was to come down hard on her leg and she were to tear her ACL, and what would we say? We would say, oh, man, Simone, and we would all be feeling sad for her. We would all have sympathy. We would all be understanding. We would all just be, you know, it would be no issue whatsoever. There would be nobody that was talking smack. But because it's a mental health issue, and I would argue that the brain and mental health is a much more serious issue than any kind of physical ailment, than a knee, than an ankle, than an Achilles. As sensitive as an Achilles is, the brain is more complex. We've seen it with the NFL. We've seen it with all the chronic traumatic encephalopathy that's been going on in the NFL, how crucial the brain is in sports. We've seen mental health play a role in Kevin Love's basketball career, where he had to take some time away from the team for himself. We've seen Naomi Osaka recently, the number one tennis woman in the world. We've seen her withdraw from a competition, from a major, because of mental health. So mental health is very, very serious. And for Simone Biles to have something going on with her brain, with her mind, people need to be more sympathetic, if not empathetic, because all of us know somebody who was affected by mental health issues in some way, one fashion or one form or another. So I think that we need to be a little bit more sympathetic and more understanding. And I think that the people that are on Twitter that are going crazy on Simone Biles, I think they need to relax and kick back. Shout out to John Nelson. My guy John Nelson says he celebrates her individualism, and but she wallowed in publicity hype lavished by Comcast, NBC. There's a lot to unpack there. They owe us refunds for hours of advertisement. Now, what I would say to you, John Nelson, is yes, I do celebrate her individualism as also, but the advertisement, I mean, the NBC, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot right now with what they've got. They lost out on a lot of the ratings with the Sha'Carri Richardsons, because she would have brought a lot of different eyeballs to TV. They've had some issues with they got issues with the Olympic male basketball team. It's just a lot going on. No fans in the stands. So NBC is going through a lot. I mean, I don't feel bad for them. They launched Peacock Network and everything. They making money, but NBC does not owe us anything for the hours of advertisement. Simone Biles is not going to compete in the individual or the team, and it's because of mental health issues. And I think we need to, celebrate the fact that she's speaking out in mental health and being on such a high stage and a high platform. For her to be an advocate for mental health, I think it's going to be huge moving forward. So Jade Carey is going to replace her, so we're not going to lose by forfeit or by default. So shout out to Simone Biles. And this is a really bad picture of her. We're going to take that picture down. We're infamous for doing that here on Go Long Live with Barry Long too, for putting bad pictures of people up. Now, we've also seen some issues in the other Olympic sports, and basketball has been one of those. Basketball, we lost the very first game to France. The Rudy Gobert Evan Fournier led French team beat us, and it was an embarrassing performance by a lot of the superstars in the NBA, including Kevin Durant, who only came in with 10 points, who was in foul trouble and fouled out. You never see Kevin Durant foul out. But the team USA men's basketball team bounced back and they beat Iran by 54 points, 120-66, which was an exciting game, to say the least. We had a different starting lineup this time. Greg Popovich was almost crucified online for the starting lineup that he sent out there originally. But Damian Lillard came in big. He led all the scoring for 21 points. He hit 7 threes, so he made only 3-point shots. And, Team Iran, they only have one former NBA player. His name is Hamed Haddadi. Hamed Haddadi. I'm sorry, Hamed. But, Hamed Haddadi. And that is not him right there pictured in the Iran. Some people call it Iran. It's Iran. Shout out to David Carlin, DC. Me and you could have beat Iran. That is hilarious, DC. Shout out to DC, man. Well, yeah, Iran only has one former NBA player. They don't have any NBA players. It's incredible that we were even on the court with them. We haven't played against them in competition in basketball because of the political conflicts that's been going on between the two countries since 2010. So it was a great time to see them. Craig Popovich, after the game, he praised their fundamentals, their defense, and just the fact that they're out there playing basketball. But they're ranked 23rd in the world, so it's incredible that they were even out there. But yeah, they lost by 54 points, and America, felt like we're coming back, we're getting our swagger back. In that first game, if you watched, we passed the ball too much. We have a lot of scorers. We have a lot of guys who play one-on-one individual ISO basketball. And they were getting wide open shots, wide open looks, but they weren't taking the shots because Greg Popovich has been drilling in their head that they need to play more like a team. They need to pass the ball more. And you gotta remind yourself that these guys haven't been together but for a couple weeks. And the teams that we're playing against internationally, these teams have been playing together for years. Okay. And they're homeboys for real. And this is the pinnacle of their basketball careers. They don't have an NBA finals. They might have a Croatian finals or the Iranian national basketball finals, but they're not over there counting rings like we're counting rings up against Jordan and Kobe and Mike and LeBron and KD. NBA is the pinnacle of basketball, especially in this country, but around the world, okay? That's why you got the top talents, Giannis Antetokounmpo from Greece coming to play in the NBA. You got Nikola Jokic. Hell, our last 3 MVPs are from a different country. Giannis 2 years in a row, and then Nikola Jokic. You got the guy from Slovenia, Luka Doncic, coming over here. These are the top players in the world. So the NBA Finals is the pinnacle of their basketball careers. Now, a lot of these guys on these national teams, the Nigerian national team, the Australian national team, their pinnacle of their basketball career is the Olympics. They don't want rings. They want Olympic rings. They want gold medals, okay? So these guys are playing extremely hard, extremely physical. If you know anything about an international basketball, it is a more physical game. Our NBA players, if you remember NBA back in the 90s, back in the late 80s, when you could go across the middle and get elbowed in the nose and it just be a regular foul, not even a technical, not even a flagrant foul. That's kind of how international ball is. I mean, I'm not saying it's that physical, but it is pretty physical. And a lot of our players are accustomed to getting foul calls by just getting tapped on the elbow. So what you had in the first couple games, especially in those exhibition games, was a bunch of guys that were driving to the basket, barely getting fouled, and looking at the refs like, come on, ref. And this is not the NBA. This is the international game. And the game is a little bit shorter. 40 minutes instead of your traditional 48 minutes in the NBA. Now, a lot of people don't understand what's the difference between 40 minutes and 48 minutes. Well, the difference is because in a 48-minute game, NBA players, they're running up and down the court. So a lot of these guys are accustomed to taking possessions off defensively and just saying, okay, you know what? We'll make a run because basketball is a game of runs. Well, in a 10-minute quarter game, you don't have a lot of opportunities to take possessions off defensively. And when these guys did, they saw what happened. They got beat by Rudy Gobert and Evan Fournier and Nick Batum, which should never happen. Yeah, David, you're right. We should have beat you, and I probably could have beat Iran. I'm sure we would have need 3 more players, but but yeah. So the Team USA beating Iran by 54 points is not cause for us to say, you know what? Now these guys have clicked. Now they got it. I think that it's helpful. But still moving forward, I'm not convinced that we're going to be able to win the gold medal. Now, we lost to France, who is the number 7 in the world ranked team. And we still have Argentina, Australia, who we lost to before, Spain, who's going to be tough this year. Those are the top 2, 3, and 4 ranked teams. So if we had a problem with number 7, we might have problems with 2, 3, and 4. And don't forget about Nigeria. We lost to them already. An athletic team that plays well. They move the ball well. They shoot extremely well from the three-point line. So we have our hands full in this tournament. And I said it before that we needed to construct our roster in a different way, and we needed our top players. And it's pretty funny. I saw this meme, and this is probably what we need to do. But it's Draymond Green looking over at KD and saying, "Oh, do I need to call LeBron and Curry?" Yes, you do. And I wish there was a way that we could just – and look at how mad Devin Booker looks in that picture. Oh, my goodness. He just looks pissed. Well, Devin Booker, to be fair, just came off of a flight, and he just came off of losing the NBA Finals. So losing here would not be good. I mean, this guy might have to be on suicide watch if we lose, if we don't get the gold medal. So somebody please on Team USA step up and take over. And Damian Lillard was he was very good. And they inserted, Drew Holiday into the starting lineup. Devin Booker got a little bit more playing time. So we're looking good on, against Iran. We played the Czech Republic, Czechoslovakia on Saturday. That should be a win. I'm not sure if a 54-point win, but it should be a win. And we'll see where we go from there. But I definitely think that we don't expect to dominate the way we have in the past. You are live on Go Long Live with Barry Long 2. I am Barry Long the second. Don't forget the 2. And we're on todayscalifornia.com. We are on CoachellaValley.com. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in. Thank you to everybody who is commenting. Remember, you can get your comments read. All you got to do is just comment along on Facebook, and I can actually have them pop up on the screen. So, yeah, shout out to you all. We got some very exciting things coming up in the month of August. Some places we're going to be doing some business from. We're going to be doing some shows, some live shows from there. We're going to have some fun guests on the show. Not going to really spill too much into it, but we definitely will. So now we move on to basketball in the NBA. From men's basketball, Team USA, to the NBA. Ben Simmons, who we talked about early on when the show first, got off the ground. I had a pretty long conversation about Ben Simmons. And Ben Simmons, his free throw shooting, what Philadelphia was going to end up having to do with him, because he was a liability when it came to the free throw line in the playoffs against the Hawks. And ultimately, he was the reason why they lost. Now, Ben Simmons has been linked to the Miami Heat, to the Toronto Raptors, and to the Washington Wizards, which should be very interesting to see which team he ends up actually going to. It's kind of a nice picture right there of him and Jimmy Butler. Him looking on at Jimmy Butler, who's at the free throw line, by the way. Ben Simmons is probably looking at him like, man, I wish I could do that. Well, Ben Simmons going to Miami would be a great, great side relief. I think this is the actual place that he fits. He doesn't fit in too many systems, because most of the time, if you want a point guard who's 6'9", 6'10", and with a long wingspan, who's great defensively but can't shoot three-pointers, can't shoot free throws, and doesn't have a mid-range game, you have to look at a team that has nothing but shooters around the perimeter and not too many big, dominant big men, so that the lane is wide open for him to drive and dish. And Miami is one of the only teams where I think that he would actually work and fit on. And I could actually really see him, gelling with a Jimmy Butler, with a Duncan Robinson who can shoot the lights out. Miami's going to have to take care of Duncan, because Duncan is scheduled to become a free agent. But if they take care of Duncan Robinson, they got Tyler Herro still under contract. You got 2 shooters right there who Ben Simmons could drive and kick to. You got a team leader in Jimmy Butler. Kendrick Nunn, he's a shooter. You got Oladipo on that team, who's scheduled to be a free agent. They need to take care of him as well. And Bam Adebayo actually works as a big man with Ben Simmons, because he's 6'10", and he's not always crowding the paint, and he can get his own buckets. So I feel like Miami Heat, this could be a really good destination for a guy like Ben Simmons. Absolutely. So, but when you look at the Raptors, I don't think the Raptors are a good place to go, because Kyle Lowry is leaving. So you think, oh, we just need a point guard there. But no, you need a point guard that can shoot. And the Raptors really don't have enough shooters, and neither do the Washington Wizards. And I think that If you pair Ben Simmons along with Russell Westbrook, it could be disastrous. It just give me neither one of those guys can shoot. So I think it'll be a terrible place to go for Washington or Toronto. But I think Miami, Ben Simmons being in the Miami Heat uniform would definitely work. Now he's also been linked to the Lakers. We'll see if LeBron would even want to do that. The Warriors have also been mentioned. The Warriors could actually work with Ben Simmons if they moved Stephen Curry to the 2 guard and they moved Klay Thompson to the 3. Then I can see them working. But then you have a liability on defense with Steph Curry guarding shooting guards. He barely can guard point guards. So it could be interesting to see. But we'll keep an eye on where Ben Simmons is rumored to go to, and we'll keep an eye on where he actually lands to. And you just want to see guys who struggle, guys who are good guys. He's not a bad guy at all. He's got a good personality. Seems like he has a good heart. Seems like he cares about the game. But we just don't know if he cares enough to work on his shooting, because we haven't seen him improve in the years that he's been in the league, despite what kind of contract that he's been given. So I root for Ben Simmons. I want to see him do well, and we'll definitely keep following that story. But now we also have some free agents that we need to talk about, because we got some top free agents in the league that are going to be coming out. And Chris Paul is going to lead that list. So you got Kawhi Leonard, the Claw. Okay. You've also got DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry, who are both linked to the Los Angeles Lakers. Andre Drummond, who has left the Lakers. And all the teams behind these guys are the teams that they were currently on that they're leaving. Victor Oladipo, we just talked about him. Miami needs to figure out a way to keep him, because he's definitely a scorer, and I love his game. Drew Holiday, who just won a championship with the Bucks, I think that he'll come back and run it back. John Collins looks happy in Atlanta, but he's definitely going to need that top dollar. I think Atlanta is going to allow him to go out and shop around for contracts, and then they're probably going to end up matching his contract. Mike Conley, I believe, is gone from Utah. Although he did kind of fit into Utah, nobody really likes to play in Utah, it seems like, except Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. And they're just kind of different dudes. But Mike Conley is a guy who's been linked to the Lakers as well. I could see the Lakers need a point guard so that LeBron James doesn't have to handle the ball as much. So all the point guards up here, except Dennis Schroeder, are very, 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 very. They would work. They would fit well with LeBron and with the Lakers. Even Alonzo Ball. Alonzo Ball has increased his 3-point shooting. He's increased his free throw line percentage. He's increased in a lot of different areas in his game. So I feel like if he was to come back to the Lakers and reunite with LeBron, it would be a different type of story. But I feel like the best possible point guards that could go to the Lakers are Chris Paul, Kyle Lowry, or Michael Conley. Guys that can get their own shot, guys that can pass the ball and distribute, and guys that can shoot at a high level, even Drew Holiday. But I do not expect Drew Holiday to be around long once free agency starts in August. So these are your top free agents this year. Serge Ibaka probably going to go back to where he was, to the Clippers, and of course Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin had a star season for the Brooklyn Nets. We haven't seen Blake Griffin play the way that he played this year. Definitely do expect Blake Griffin to be a wanted commodity. I think Blake Griffin is going to be someone who a lot of people are going to be coming after. So, and LaMarcus Aldridge, he's on the last end of his career, and then you got guys like Montrezl Harrell, who just didn't get enough playing time this year, and I don't see him wanting to come back to the Lakers with the way that Frank Vogel played him. Now we're moving on. You are watching Go Long Live with Barry Long II. Don't forget the 2. I am Barry Long II, and thank you everybody for commenting. Now we're going to move on to DC's favorite NFL team. We got some NFL news. Now Aaron Rodgers has been the story of the offseason. He informed the Packers he wasn't showing up. He said, look, I don't like the way you handle my contract. I don't like the way you handle the decisions on the team. I don't like the way you did anything. So I'm not showing up. And a lot of people were out here calling him Karen Rodgers. That is your meme of the day. Karen Rodgers. Now, what is the definition of Karen? I think we all know what the definition of a Karen is. They became popular during the pandemic, and they're all the tension that we had in this country. Karen is a middle-aged woman who makes solutions to others' problems at an inconvenience to her, although she's not even remotely affected. And that's what the way that a lot of Packer fans were feeling about Aaron Rodgers, calling him Karen Rodgers. Now, Aaron Rodgers is the MVP, the reigning MVP of the league. And the problems that he had were legitimate. I don't see him as a Karen at all. I see him as a guy who just wants to be respected, who deserves the respect that he was demanding. And he deserves to have a say-so in what's going on in that organization. And the Packers have been traditionally linked to not paying top free agents. They don't go out on free agency and spend top dollar on free agency. They did this year a little bit, this past year a little bit. They made a little splash, going after some defensive players like the two Smith guys, Zadarius and the other one. The Smith brothers is what they call them. But yeah, they made a little bit of a splash defensively in the free agency market, but they've never gone after top free agents, and they've never paid their top players the top contracts once they get on the end of their career. They're always looking down the future. This is a team that doesn't have a one owner. This is a conglomerate that owns this team. This is a community team, and it's all about Green Bay more than it is about the individual. And it's always been that way, even with Brett Favre. And he had to learn that the hard way with Aaron Rodgers behind him, much like Aaron Rodgers is learning the hard way with Jordan behind him. So we expect to see Jordan Love at some point, but we're not going to see him this season because Aaron Rodgers has returned. He has officially returned to camp, and this is him arriving yesterday at camp. He missed OTAs. He missed mandatory minicamp, which was in June, but he showed up. And he participated in all the team meetings yesterday. And he's expected to be on the practice field today as we speak, as a matter of fact. So if he doesn't, then we won't know about it because the show will be over. But no, he's on the field today. He is out there practicing. And it's just a good thing to see him. And he's got the top-ranked wide receiver in the league. So he can't argue that he doesn't have weapons. He's got some pretty good weapons. He's got a good running back. He's got a good line. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, him putting up a post of The Last Dance the other day was huge for me because this team has been going to the NFC Championship year after year. They've been right there on the cusp of the Super Bowl. And Aaron Rodgers only has one ring. It's time for him to win that second ring. And if it happens like the way that The Last Dance happened, they go out and they try to win a championship, and they do, and then they dismantle the team, then we can say that Aaron Rodgers foresaw it. But he definitely is showing back up. And it's just kind of crazy how the Packers made a lot of accommodations for him, which we don't see NFL teams do that much. They voided out the final year of his contract so that he could go out and seek his own contract with a new team as a free agent. They also agreed to review his situation at the end of the season. They said the contract would be adjusted with no loss of income because he would have been fined for not showing up, and they're trying to create more cap space. And there are mechanisms put in place to address the issues that he had with the team. So meaning I'm assuming that he will have more of an opportunity to say how he feels about the team and, more of a say-so and more of a decision-making type of leader that we've seen other players do, like Tom Brady. When Tom Brady went to the Buccaneers, immediately he told Bruce Arians, hey, go get me Leonard Fournette. I want Antonio Brown. Yes, I want Gronkowski. And what do? They accommodated him. What happened? They won a Super Bowl. So maybe if the Green Bay Packers take a little page out of the handbook that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made this year, maybe they would be looking at a Super Bowl championship run like the Tampa Bay Bucs had this year. So we are going to go by division, starting on Friday. We're going to dive deep into the Olympics on Friday with Craig Campbell. We'll go division by division starting on Monday, and I'll give you my winners of each division and why they'll win, and I'll address each and every team. And I just want to thank everybody for tuning in for this edition of Go Long Live with Very Long 2. Shout out to everybody for sharing the post, and we will talk on Friday. Remember, you're capable of anything. Stay focused, stay motivated, stay inspired.